Hey guys, this is PB from the Home Automation Project. Today I'm going to show you how to install Home Assistant on Raspberry Pi. If you're new to the world of Home Assistant or to the world of home automation in general, this is going to be your step-by-step guide to getting started with Home Assistant in 2024. So keep watching. To install Home Assistant, the first thing that you need is the hardware, which is a Raspberry Pi 4. Let me show you which is the right one to get. So I am here on Amazon and I will type for Raspberry Pi 4. This should list a few options on the website. And I'm looking for the option which is Raspberry Pi 4 Model B. I would recommend this as the hardware to use. So if you can click on this, as you can see, this comes with a few things. So there's the Raspberry Pi motherboard and the SD card, which are the two most important things. And apart from that, you have got a SD card adapter and you have got a case in which you can put the Raspberry Pi and a few other accessories. This is a nice little package which would help you get started. But if you only have the motherboard and SD card also, you can go ahead with the installation. Once we have the hardware sorted, now let's see how do we install the software. For that, you can search for the keyword Home Assistant on your browser. In this page, you will see the link under Home Assistant which says installation. Click on that link. This will take you to the installer page of Home Assistant, and here you will see various options for installing, going from easy to hard to expert. These are the level of difficulty that you can face when installing, and the recommendation to start with would be to use one of the easy options, and that's why we are installing a Raspberry Pi today. In future, if you have a need to improve the performance of your home network, let's say you have got hundreds of devices with many complex routines, and if you want to improve the performance, I would recommend going to one of these options and installing on a standalone PC. In my instance, I have my installation on a standalone mini PC running on Linux, and I find that to be a very stable configuration. It has never once gone down in the last 2 to 3 years that I've been using it on this installation. I would make a separate video for this at a later time. Today, let's check out the option of Raspberry Pi. Just one more thing to mention here, you will see two other devices mentioned, Home Assistant Green and Home Assistant Yellow. These are custom made hardware specifically for Home Assistant and is supposed to make your installation process easier. However, these are almost impossible to get in the market, and hence I wouldn't recommend them at the moment. The best option would be to start with is a Raspberry Pi. So you come here and click on the button View Tutorial. This opens up the Raspberry Pi installer page of Home Assistant. As you can see, one of the suggested hardware is Raspberry Pi 4, which we looked at earlier. And you can go down and click on the link which says www.raspberrypi.com/software. This will take you to the Raspberry Pi OS installer page. It's called the Raspberry Pi Imager application. You need to download and install this application on your computer from which you are doing this installation. In my case, I'm using a MacBook, so I will use the link download for macOS. However, you can, if you have Windows or a Linux machine, you can use the other two options to download. So let's click the link for downloading and let's allow the download to happen. So we'll wait for the download to complete before going to the next step. Once you open the application that we downloaded, you will be presented with this screen which has three options: choose device, choose OS, and choose storage. Click on choose device and select Raspberry Pi 4 Model B. That's the one which we ordered. Next, click on the button choose OS and scroll down to the option which says other specific purpose OS. Click on this. Next, scroll down and find the option which says Home Assistance and Home Automation. click on the option listed as Home Assistant. Finally, click on the option which says Home Assistant OS 12.1 R/4/400. Next, choose the storage. This should be the SD card which you're planning to use for installing the software onto the Raspberry Pi board. Let me go ahead and plug in the SD card. I have now plugged in my SD card and I'm going to choose the storage. As you can see, this is my SD card, so I'm going to click on this. Be extra careful when choosing this option in case if you have multiple devices or external hard disk plugged into your USB, because this process is going to completely overwrite all data that is part of this destination drive. Let's click on this option and click next to start the installation. It gives a warning that your media will be erased. Click yes, and your installation process starts. I'll speed up this part of the video to save them some time. Okay, so now the installation is completed successfully. You can go ahead and take out the SD card and install it in your Raspberry Pi hardware. So here's everything that comes with your Raspberry Pi kit. To begin with, you have this USB card adapter which can be used to plug in the USB card into your computer, or as we'll see later, into the Raspberry Pi motherboard itself. This goes into the back and there's a slot here. You just need to push it in. Next, we have HDMI micro HDMI cable. This can be used to connect the motherboard to our display, such as external monitor. In our case, we'll be connecting it to our computer or laptop, and this will help us to see the installation as well as to view the IP address that gets assigned to the Raspberry Pi. The Raspberry Pi board itself comes in this box, and there are a couple of manuals in there. Won't be needing it for this video. If you look carefully at the board, then you will see there are a few terminals, IO ports, that will be useful for this installation. First one is the LAN cable slot, so we'll be putting in a LAN cable here to connect our network and to be able to access it through the web interface. If you turn it around, then you have these two HDMI ports. As I said, one of these we'll use with this cable to view the installation and view the IP address of this device once it comes on the network. And this is your power input. So you have got a power cord that comes with it, and this is a USB power device, so we'll have to plug it in like so, and we will be supplying the power to this board. There are a few accessories that comes with it, the box itself, and along with that we have got the fan and few heat sinks. This is important to keep this cool because this will be running 24/7. The box it opens from both sides, and you can open it like so. And there's a few screws etc that comes with the box. I'll show you how to use them. The fan accessory goes in here, and the motherboard goes inside the box and fits in snugly. So we'll start the installation by first installing the motherboard, and then from there we'll go on to install the software. As you can see, I have taken out the items that you would need for this next step. So we need the motherboard itself. Obviously we need the fan. We'll be installing this one, and there are a few heat sinks available here which we'll be installing on various parts of the motherboard which tend to heat up. We need a Phillips head screwdriver to attach these screws onto the box so that it is held securely, and it's a thin Phillips head screwdriver that would be required. This doesn't come with the kit, so you need one of your own for this step. And of course we need the SD card. As the last step, we need to put in the SD card. There is a SD card slot in the back. We need to put it in here. I will put a schematic of this motherboard up there for your reference. So let's move this aside, keep this aside, and let us start by sticking these heat sinks and put it on top before you attach them, and you can match the sizes, should match more or less exactly. So this one goes on to the main processor. So let's do this. I will speed up this part of the video where I am attaching the sinks. Okay, so there you have it, the 4 heat sinks attached. The next step that you need to follow is you need to be aware of the specifications of these 40 pins. These are called the GPIO pins. I'll leave a schematic up there for you to refer, but the 2 pins that we are interested in are pin number 4 and 6. So the way you count them is you start from the top left and you go horizontally and then down. So you count like 1, 2, 3, 4, then 5, 6, 7, 8 and so on. So here the pin number 4, this one, and pin number 6 are the 2 that we need. This is for the fan. So if you look at the fan, then there are 2 wires that come with it. One is the red wire and one is the black wire. Black wire is the one which goes to ground terminal and the red wire is for power supply. So the way we are going to insert it, the terminal number 4 is your power supply and terminal number 6 is your ground. We won't be doing the step now. First we need to put the board in the box, and after that we'll do the step, otherwise we won't be able to put it easily in the box. So let's bring the box here and let us open it on both sides. And what you do next is you take this and you ensure that the ports, you can see the gaps here and the gaps here. So obviously these align with these, but on this side, as you can see, these are not aligning. So what you need to do is just turn it around, so that now if you do this, you can see that the ports on the side are also aligning. So you need to make sure that they align before you snap it on, and it snaps on pretty nicely and it's a pretty snug fit. So just don't press too tight, just press it lightly so that you can see that the sides have all aligned. And then you take the base, which is this one, the one with the crosses on there. Oops, my bad. Let me just get it in position. Yeah, it's there. Now again, you need to ensure that the gaps here align with the ports on this side, and then the front aligns with the gaps there. And you just press it down like so, and as you can see, it's a pretty snug fit, and you can see it from the top. The motherboard inside the box, you can see these 4 points. Let me use the screwdriver to show you. Can you see this point here, for example, this one, and then this one, and on the other side also you will see similarly, you will see this point here. So there are 4 points here on which you need to attach the screws. So for this you will be using these small ones. So there are 4 of these screws that comes with the kit, and we can go ahead and attach these screws to secure the motherboard in place. We are going to attach the fan. For this you need to put the pin in like this, so that your red goes in number 4 and black goes in number 6, and then you push it down firmly till it goes in fully. As you can see, this is how this will look like once you put this in. So number 4 is going to be a red wire, number 6 is going to be a black wire. Now that I have attached the fan, the pins of the fan correctly, now you need to put the fan in these 4 slots, and the way it goes in is the sticker side goes down, facing downwards, and the plain black side will be going inside these 4 points. And you will know when it is the right fit because it should lock in place, and it should literally click in place properly and firmly. So if you look carefully from the top, you should be able to see the edge of the cross near edge of the cross coming to the top, so that means it is a proper fit. And once you have done this, you can just press the wire down and close the lid by gently pushing it down so that the four sides fit in, and there you go. That's a snap fit. So this is where our SD card is going to go in, but before where the SD card is going to go in, this is the slot. It will be facing like this, but before we do that, let's take this away and let's power this up. So for powering this up, you have the USB cable that came with the kit and also a switch to control the power. Find the USB-C slot which is on this side and plug it in, and like so, and switch it on with this button, and you can see that the LED has come on. So this shows that the power is there, working fine, and you can check if the fan is switched on. It should have switched on as well and should be, yeah, powered up now. So let's switch it off first and let's put the SD card in. And that's how it goes. The SD card, this, it should be, the printed face is facing downwards if you look at it from the top. Yeah, and now let's go ahead and boot it up. I'll press the power button and this should now boot up. Now that we have power going to this box as well as the SD card is ready and booted up, we need to plug in the network cable or the Ethernet cable of your home network. Let's do that. So I'll take the Ethernet cable and I'll insert it in this slot like so, and that should connect it to the network. Next, let's go and check the interface of Home Assistant. So for this next step, you need to know that the IP address that has been assigned to your Raspberry Pi. Once you plug in the Ethernet cable, there are two ways you can do this. One way is to attach the HDMI cable as showed earlier to a monitor and check out from the user interface. The other option is to go to your router's homepage and check out the device list option like so, and you can scroll down the list and look for any unknown MAC addresses. As you can see, when I click on the right one, it shows the manufacturer name as Raspberry Pi Trading Limited. You can note the IP address next to that. Go to your browser window and type in the IP address. In my case, it is 192.168. And after the IP address, you need to type in colon and then 8123. This is the default port for your Home Assistant OS, and it is important that you use this port to connect over the web interface. Hit enter, and as you can see, you're taken to the welcome page of Home Assistant. It's still booting up in my case, hence this wait page. Let's wait for this to complete. Once I have typed in the correct URL along with the port number, we land on the Home Assistant welcome page, and this is how it looks. So the first thing we need to do is to click on Create My Smart Home. Let's click, and you'll need to create a name, username and a password. Let's go ahead and do that. Once I've entered a username and a password, click on Create Account. Then you can set the address. It will help you to create any geolocations, etc., or location based automations if you need in the future. I'll skip this for now. Select the country. And this is the screen where you can decide to send some data back to Home Assistant. I generally check them. It's up to you what you want to do in this one. And as you can see, it has found all the devices or rather the hubs that are connected to my network instance. So it has found my TV, Bluetooth, ESP Home, HomeKit device, Philips Hue, the Matter, Shelly, and Bluetooth. So all of these, and if there are any other devices that are compatible with Home Assistant and which is on the same network, it should be able to find it. And there you go. Your Home Assistant instance is now up and running. When you first land on Home Assistant, you will be landing on this page, which is called the dashboard. And this is a very basic dashboard that gets auto-created, but you can edit this later. You can go to notification first. It will tell you about any new devices that it has discovered on the network, which it thinks is compatible. So if you hit check it out, then it will take you to the devices integrations page, which you can also navigate to by going through from settings. And this completes our installation. We will cover more in-depth features of Home Assistant in future videos.
So that's all for today's video. Hope you liked the video. Keep watching my channel for more such exciting home automation projects. Till then, stay safe and stay connected.